My name is Dr. Ruth Newstifter, or Dr. Ruthie. I'm a blogger over at exploringintimacy.com, professional educator, and the author of The Nice Girl's Guide to Talking Dirty, which was so fun to write, and just having a great time with that book. Right now, I'm here thanks to the folks at funwares.com answering your questions about sex and relationships. So make sure to stop by Funwares and tell them thank you for me and tell them I said hi. I've been getting lots of questions this month from Twitter, as I've been saying. You can find me on Twitter at DrRuthie, or you can email your questions to AskDrRuthie at funwares.com. And here's a question, and it came over a couple of tweets, so I'm going to piece it together for you here. And we're going to call this person Guy, because he signed it as some guy. All right, some guy says for us, Dr. Ruthie, this is kind of embarrassing, especially for a grown-up man, I love that my girlfriend was very forthright about sex initially, but now I feel pressured all the time. Is it possible for women to force men to have sex? Some guy, thank you for writing this question, Guy. I really appreciate it. This is an important topic. Now, I'm an expert in intimate partner violence, which is a really big, heavy word, so take it or leave it. But basically what that means is I do a lot of teaching and studying and even research in the area of relationships where people don't treat each other with the kind of respect that they should, where the power and control is very, very imbalanced. And so I want you to know that although stereotypes tell us that men are always ready and wanting sex and you can't rape the willing, so guys must always want it, that's not true. It's not true. And yes, it absolutely is possible for women to coerce men into sex, for men to coerce men into sex, and for women and men to both rape men. These things are very possible. So this is a really difficult topic for people to talk about, and sometimes it's a hard topic to believe. So people may be asking, other than Guy, you kind of already know some of the answers to this question, but people may be asking, how is it possible to rape a guy? If he gets an erection, isn't it willing? Well, that's not the case. Your mind and your genitals don't always match up. Certainly, we all know of situations with guys and gals where emotionally they really wanted to have sex and their genitals weren't turning on the way that they were hoping that they would, right? This happens. So why does it seem so strange that the opposite could be true too? That you don't want something to be happening in your mind and you make the decision, no, this is not what I want, but your genitals are not in line with that mental decision. Furthermore, there's this kind of physical bodily response where when we get really frightened or when we get really threatened or when we get really scared for our lives, if it's that intense of a situation, where our genitals exhibit the signs of arousal, blood starts flowing, everything starts happening, and the other person says, look, see, you want it. That's not necessarily the case. So your body is maybe aroused or it may be frightened, but whatever it is, what it looks like is happening down there is not the decision you've made in your head and your heart. And so this can happen. Whether his partner physically holds him down or, restrains him in some manner, that sex then ensues in a way that's unconsensual, which then is not sex, it's rape. Or whether it's verbal coercion, these things happen, right? Verbal and emotional abuse is really damaging. You don't want me to tell your friends, what would the guys say if they knew that you didn't want to have sex with me or that you're denying the fact that you're turned on, what are you? Are you gay? And please, I love gay folks, but you know that sometimes this can be used as an insult and people use it as an insult within these sorts of situations. So there's all kinds of things that can be said here. Don't you love me? Don't you want me? Come on, I really want it. I need it. What's wrong with you? Any of those things that can be said. There's a lot of really good guys out there that would never raise a hand to hurt their lover, that would never yell at or embarrass or do something to their lover that would be off-putting, that feel insecure in these situations, that feel frightened, that feel coerced. Whatever the case may be, this certainly does happen. So yes, guys can be sexually assaulted, coerced, raped, have sex against their will, whatever it is that you have sex they don't really want. These things can happen most definitely. Guy, I'm really sorry to hear that this is happening. And oftentimes when this is going on in a relationship, there are other problems happening at the same time. It's actually part of a larger imbalance of power and control and disrespect in the relationship. Any loving, respectful, caring relationship, if a partner comes on a lot stronger than the other person wants, the person who's not as interested says, whoa there, cowboy, cowgirl, I'm not, I'm really flattered and you're really sexy, but I'm totally not into this right now. And maybe the other person is a little frustrated or a little embarrassed or maybe even a little bit peeved, but they own their mistake and they go, whoa, sorry about that. I am just really turned on right now. Didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. And they own it and they back off. And then at some point, a plan gets made, if this is a repeated problem, where folks learn how to communicate better. So, sweetie, is there a way where you can let me know a little further in advance when you're not turned on so I don't get to that really rare point and embarrass myself so much? And that's nobody's fault, right? But you're owning the communication. So in a caring relationship, when one person's really rip-roaring to go and the other person isn't into it, the person who's rip-roaring owns it and deals with it. They go take care of it themselves. They propose another sexual activity that might be of interest to both of you or good enough for both of you. Nobody dislikes it. So they might go, oh man, I really want nothing more than to get laid with you right now. But any chance you could, help me out with one of my sex toys? And if the other person still isn't interested, I'm like, hey, sorry, I totally respect that. I'm going to check out for a couple minutes and I'll see you in a few. I'll be right back. Or whatever the case may be, right? So you can propose a different activity, but always with the respect that it's not an obligation for the other person to be sexual with you. You're just checking to see if something different might be interesting. Or, you just say, no, not right now. Now's not the time. That's fine. And it's always fine for it not to be the time for any gender. For you, these are all the responsibilities of the partner who's really pressuring about sex. They need to be stepping up and taking this responsibility. How do we avoid rape and sexual assault and sexual coercion? We teach people to stop raping and sexually coercing and sexually assaulting. It's their job to stop doing it. We do have the responsibility of not pretending we want something when we don't want it, right? But aside from not faking that you want something when you don't want it, the rest of the job is on the other person. What to do about this? A conversation at a point in time that is neutral, that is not sexually charged. But also recognizing that if this is a pattern in the relationship, you may need to step back on the relationship. This may not need to be where you are. If this is just one sign or symptom of disrespect in the relationship, there's a larger problem. And the sexual problem is waving the flag for it, and it's really important, but it means it needs action on a larger level. Find people who support you and believe you and understand you. And if you can't find them, drop me a line and I'll hook you up with some international resources that can help you with this. And, do whatever is necessary to put yourself in a place where you're respected, either by that person or because that other person isn't there anymore to disrespect you. I'm Dr. Ruthie. Be safe, be happy, take care of yourself, be good to each other, and I will see you in the next video.